Some of the greatest lessons in life are told through stories. My name is Jason, and you're listening to the StoryTrack Podcast, where we talk with entrepreneurs, business owners, and community leaders about their story and what keeps them on track. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the StoryTrack Podcast. My name is Jason, and today we have joined with us Brad Stevens, who is a business owner and a community leader here in Panama City, Florida. And right now we're located inside of his shop, Sunjammer Watersports, in historic St. Andrews. So, Brad, thanks for being on the show.
And thanks for having me.
What are you thankful for today? What are you grateful for?
Oh, man, I'm thankful I woke up. I'm thankful for the new opportunities today have. Every day is a new opportunity to either wallow in yesterday's sorrow or make sure tomorrow's better. So I'm always about what can I do today to make sure I'm better off when I go to bed tonight than I was when I woke up. And not so much am I better, the people around me, my sphere of influence. Have I done anything to add value to them? Have I helped anybody today? If the answer to that's no, then it was a fail.
All right. So your spirit, your influence that's around you. How are you working on bettering them? How do you better the people that are around you?
That's almost different every day. I know some people, they have like a sphere of people they're around every day. They're around the same, 8 or 9
your
people
inner
a
circle.
day. So exactly, an inner circle. So obviously I have our staff and our team members here, at our stores that we have, but then I'm not in here every single day. So if I'm at home, it's my wife and my children. If I'm leading a community meeting or in a part of a community meeting with small business owners, I love small business. And I've been doing this going on 21 years now. So wow. I've made about all the mistakes you can make, it seems like. So I can tell people through my failures how you may not want to do this because here's what happened back in 2005 when we did this or something along those lines. So it's almost who I run into if I'm at Walmart, if I'm at Publix. It's just, I don't know who said this, but there's a thing called the hurry sickness where everybody's in a hurry. I don't remember who said that. It was somebody super famous. I apologize for not remembering who it is.
Probably smarter than both of us.
For sure. But Gladwell, I don't know who it was, but it was the hurry sickness where everybody's always in a hurry. So even if I'm at Publix and I haven't done anything nice for anybody today, and I'm like, I'll let them go in front of me because everybody's always in a hurry. I'll sometimes pick the longest line at a checkout. One, so I can watch people, but all those people that are in a super big hurry, they can go to that shorter line. Even doing something as offhand as that doesn't really direct anybody or influence anybody or help them that they know about, it does help them up because the hurry, being busy will kill you.
Man, I don't think I've ever heard something as selfless as intentionally picking the longest line.
I don't always do it.
Checkout. Well, I've never done it.
Well, if I'm in a super hurry or, but if it's just a routine trip to the store, I'll just get in the back of the longest line. It doesn't matter. When I hop on airlines, even if I have like pre-boarding I'll be one of the last people on the planes that don't care where I sit. I don't care if I sit next to somebody. I'm probably going to strike up a conversation with them.
Yep.
So, it's just totally irrelevant.
Man, that's incredible. So tell me, obviously, you being in a community of St. Andrews and historic St. Andrews, and I know a lot of other local business owners, but I don't think every business owner is so connected to their community in the way that you are. Why is community so important to you, and how do you feel like it benefits the other people that are around you?
That's a good one. I'm a people person. I love to talk. I love to talk to people. I love hearing stories. I love telling stories. I get more satisfaction out of solving somebody else's problem than solving my problem. Sometimes it's easier to solve somebody else's problem because if it doesn't work, it's like, I tried, good luck. And then, you're done with it. But being connected to the community is the small business, how healthy your small business population is in a community is really the heartbeat of the community. If you can't have a successful downtown without successful small businesses. You can't have a successful community without a successful downtown and historic district. And you can just keep going on. The heartbeat of any healthy community starts in the downtown area. And all the I don't think there's a city planner that will dispute that, that I'm aware of. And if they are, let me know, because I love learning. I love learning what the other people think as well. So just being involved. And Panama City is not the greatest place to live, a lot of people say. You couldn't pay me to move from this place. You just couldn't. But so many people, when they hit 18, 19 years old, they can't wait to get out of town. They go to a bigger city. It was Austin for a while, and then it was Nashville. And I want to do everything I can to make sure my daughters never want to move away from Panama City. So I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that means. But all I know is I'm actively, everything I do, I'm thinking, all right, is this going to help not my generation, not me, but my kids. They're young. They're 8 and 11, 9 and 11. It's birthday season. I don't know how old my kids are, but somewhere around that age. And I want to make sure that they want to grow up in Panama City. My oldest, if you ask her what she's going to do today, she's moving to Houston, Texas already.
Nice.
Because she wants to go to outer space. She's going to be an astronaut. And I'm like, all right, so how do I keep her from moving? She says, Daddy, you got to get NASA to move here. I'm like, I'm on it. Well, ironically, the Air Force has a Space Force program that they just launched that is probably going to be based at Tyndall Air Force Base.
Wow.
So I'm like, hey, you're staying here. So, yeah, who knows? Totally off track. But just
that's incredible.
Being super involved with your community. People do business with friends.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're out in the community, you're friendly with everybody. You're that top-of-mind awareness, which Retail 101. So, and I don't ever try to sell anybody anything when I'm out in the community. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows what I do. They know what we offer. We have marketing channels that if they don't know what we're doing, that's a fail on my part because I run all the marketing. Mm-hmm. So when I'm out, it's just putting literally a face, as ugly of a face as it is, with the name of a store and the products we sell.
Man, that's incredible. So I think a huge part, obviously, of being involved in your community would involve serving other people. So tell me some times of how other people have in some way influenced you, have served you, have poured into Sunjammers, have poured into other businesses that you got, like the trendy side, and how did that feel? How did it affect you in a positive way?
So right after Hurricane Michael, the front of our building collapsed. Fortunately, it was just the facade. It was just the aesthetics part of it. Mm-hmm. The back of our building was structural, but another story. So we had all of our bricks down out front. Well, I got them all moved around back. A friend of mine stopped with a tractor and literally drug them all around back and just piled them, which allowed us to open our doors because you couldn't get out our front doors because of all the bricks were falling.
Wow.
And then I came to work one day, and there was a student ministry group that was in town working. I don't know if they were student, college, they're all the same to me, that St. Andrew's Baptist, which is right down the road from here, was coordinating, and they knew that I had some bricks that needed to be stacked. So they said, hey, can we help you stack your bricks? And I'm like, no. I'm not big on taking help. I'd rather go help somebody else. Mm-hmm. Well, I think they took my no as I'm never going to say yes, but I really want it to happen. One morning when I came in, they brought their own pallets, and they had about 50 people out back stacking bricks because they knew we wanted to save those historic bricks to rebuild our building with. So just those little kind things, it meant the world to me when it came in. And then our staff serves us every day. We have staff members that through all of this, they're like, we just want to come in. We just want to be there. Like, we just need something to do. We're connected to it. After the hurricane, we had one staff member. He said, I work for free. I know there's not enough cash flow to work to pay us, but I just want to come in and volunteer my time because you do everything for us. You always make sure we make all of our kids' events, all of our grandkids' events, we have birthdays off, anniversaries off, all that kind of stuff. So they served me by literally working for free. Just because we opened super early after the hurricane, earlier than we should have financially. Mm-hmm. But it was, I was like, if one door can open, every door that opens gives another business hope that I can do that as well. So just all those little things. We get served every day.
Man.
People choosing to shop here over buying online or buying online through us that live in Panama City. 90% of our packages we ship out are to Panama City.
Really?
So they didn't buy it at the cheapest place. They didn't buy it at the place that packages it the best. But they bought it knowing that money stays right here in Panama City.
That's so important.
It supports us.
Yeah, I tell you, like for the longest time, like I've always heard that small local business is important, but it totally struck a chord with me. Like everything changed after Hurricane Michael. If you're listening to this and you're not local to Panama City, in October of 2018, a Category 5 hurricane hit Panama City and just devastated everything. So in the last couple of years, Panama City has just been rebuilding, and stores like this are reopening, and the community came together in such an incredible way. So small businesses and being connected, like keeping money inside of your community. Like I never realized how important it was, until after that. Like it changed everything. It was crazy.
You see, the first people to open back up were obviously the mom and pop shops, partly because we had to. We didn't have corporate, Mm-hmm. So this is being filmed right now. I don't know when this is going to air, but where everybody's right in the middle or hopefully on the tail end of the COVID-19 epidemic that the whole pandemic. I'm not smart. I'm not the smartest person y'all are going to hear today talk. That's just not affecting Panama City, but Bay County, but the entire world. Mm-hmm. So you take what you're going through right now And it was like, we did this 18 months ago in Panama City, but on a super small scale.
Yeah.
So your corporations, they still had, stores that were open 45 minutes away that were able to funnel money to this one to keep it rolling. Mm-hmm. So, but your small businesses opened back up, and then they were some of the most charitable people as well. Rolling through the community, delivering food. We fed a bunch of people out back one day here, mainly, but it was our customers that were driving to us from Atlanta, Jacksonville, Destin, Pensacola, that were not affected by Hurricane Michael, that were driving over here to buy product from us to support us because they knew cash flow was going to be an issue, and they all brought an abundance of food with them and water and supplies. And then through our social channels, we said, hey, 5 o'clock, we don't know how much we're going to have, but, we fed our immediate community for the weeks after Hurricane Michael. And so many small businesses did the exact same thing.
Man, that's incredible. So earlier you really spoke about, your staff, that you obviously care, so much about. You and your wife both do. And, I imagine there are a lot of people that are listening to this that either have employees, have a staff, they have a team, they have an inner circle, whether or not they work for them, but hearing how you have cultivated a culture, here where people care so much about working here, so much about you, because they know that you care for them and they're willing to do whatever it takes, even if it's working for free or coming volunteering to help out. What would you advise them to do? How do you cultivate a culture like that where people just care about each other so much?
Your most valuable asset's your team around you, your employees, by far, bar none. You will only be as successful as the weakest link of your organization. And if your weakest link is a staff member, then you got to make that hard call and cut them, like instantly. You have to be brutally honest with them. But then the ones that are the right fit for you, because everybody's not a right fit. Who knows if Jason would be a right fit for here? You don't know until you just try it. And then once you find that right mix, you always let go with grace and humility and all that kind of stuff. But once you find that core that clicks, just treating them more important than anything else, their well-being, their happiness, everything around them, all the way down to their family, their kids, their grandkids, is more important than the deal. Like, we will say no to something that we could pull off, but I know that somebody else has, they already have somewhere they want to be. And there's a difference in wanting to go to the beach, but versus wanting to go eat lunch with my granddaughter because I told her I would. Like, those are appointments that I'm like, nope, this person can come demo this kayak next week. Or maybe they're not the right customer for us. So just literally treating them like family. They're all invited to all of our family gatherings. They don't always come, but that's okay. They're still invited. And it's just literally treating them like family. They're my immediate work family, because I spend more time some weeks with my work family than I do my actual home family. If you think about it, especially waking hours, for sure. You're around your coworkers more than your spouse most of the time, awake.
Yeah.
So, if you work an 8, 10, or 12-hour day, there's only 24 hours in the day, and I hope you're sleeping 8 to 10 of it. Yeah. So that only leaves 2 or 3 hours for your outside work family. So just investing in them and just honestly caring about them. And they all have a say-so in what we do. Like, if I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about bringing in this product, I want everybody's opinion on it. And I don't always listen to it, but I always take all their stuff in.
Exactly, but it's how a family operates.
Exactly.
The mom and dad, they may ask the kids' thoughts on everything, and they care about it, but ultimately, they're going to make the decision that's best.
Absolutely.
Man, so what are some lessons you feel like you've learned? You said you had 20 years with Sunjammer, 21 years.
We started in '99, and I'm bad at math, so I think we're going into our 21st year, 22nd year.
I think that's the math. Yeah. Here in 2020.
Like I said, not the smartest person y'all are going to listen to today.
And I was homeschooled, so.
And I went to public school, so there you go.
Yeah. So, in the 21 years, what have you done with inside of Sunjammers, inside of Trendy Side, which is a clothing brand that's, right next door that you own? What are some lessons that you learned, maybe some, mistakes that you've made that you're like, okay, well, I really don't want to do that again, but you want to, any way you can help somebody else to maybe avoid making some of the mistakes that you've made in the 21 years you've been doing this? Being afraid to fail was the biggest failure I've ever had. Oh, wow. And that was super early. It was just always playing it safe. And there's that fine, you just can't go out and just shoot from the hip all the time. Mm-hmm. But being afraid of failing, like, we could talk about a whole other podcast on this. But just being afraid to fail was my biggest holdback early. So you can't be afraid to fail. I was always worried about what everybody thought about me. I was young. When I started this, I was
I don't know. I was a junior in high school when I started all of this. So I had employees. I was calling them between classes, answering questions.
You started talking about Sunjammers.
I started Sunjammers, my junior year of high school. So, and then when I got, then when I was there full, and we weren't open full hours, it was not full-blown retail then. It was just, we don't know what it was. But I never went to college. I did this. I graduated from the School of Hard Knocks. In fact, I'm on a lifelong plan there. I don't think I'll ever graduate. But early on, I was so afraid of what people thought about me. It's because I was young. I was 18, 19 years old. And we sell a high-end product. So our average demographics always stayed about the same. It's that 45 to 60 range of your upper tier earners. I don't know what that terminology is. They're, I don't know, rich people. But so them taking advice from an 18-year-old that couldn't afford to buy the product he was selling himself was really difficult to start with. And I was just so afraid. I was overcompensating all the time for it. And as soon as I realized, I don't care what people think about me, I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to tell them the truth. If I think they're buying the right thing or the wrong thing, sometimes it's just better just to shut up and let them buy it, by the way. And then come back and go, you should have asked me. But just that failure to fail early was my biggest holdback.
That's incredible. I relate that a lot too. I've had a lot of situations, that I'm so blessed with, where I've been put in a place of leadership, at such a young age, and then I'm expected to lead or help somebody who is older than me. I remember one of the first situations I was put in that was so humbling was whenever I was an intern for North Star Church here in Panama City. And I was placed as the person over like the guest services team at one of the campuses as part of my internship. So I was leading underneath the person who was actually over it, but I handled a lot of tasks. And I remember just week after week having people who are old enough to be my parents or my grandparents even coming to me asking simple things like, where does this go? How do we do this and things? But then even more complicated questions like, hey, how do I handle a situation like this? And having somebody who I've known for years and have huge amounts of respect for, them having the humility to then come to me and ask a question like that, like it just changes you. And then kind of fast forwarding to, similar how, I didn't start, the video business when I was in high school, but now being 26 and starting this several years ago, being in a place where a lot of times I'm talking to people who have been in marketing for 20 years and I'm sharing a marketing principle that's something that they've never heard of. It's so different, and it's crazy. It
is.
And that fear of failure is so powerful. I was talking to my wife about it, like over the last year. It's something I've been trying to get past. Is like the whole like imposter syndrome. Like, do I deserve the success that I'm getting whenever something really great happens? Why did it happen to me? All of that, and then so many opportunities that I have missed because I've been afraid of like, well, what if I botch that phone call? What if I botch that meeting? What if somebody, pays me this money to be able to help them build their business and I fail and I don't help them build their business? Like that's apart from like that being a business failure, like I take that as a personal thing. Like Absolutely. Somebody trusted me and I failed them, but you can't just live in that, that fear of failure. So that's really good.
Yeah, it is. But one thing that I've realized is so there's all the different levels of leadership. You lead, by positional leadership and all. I don't know who did that, but there's 10 levels of leadership.
Oh, I know there was 10. I thought it was like 2.
Oh, I don't know.
I know of like the 10. Influential leadership and where people are, being led because they want to and they feel it, and then positional, it's like, you're my boss.
And then there's a bunch all between there, I do believe.
Wow.
There's like a level 10 leader that, you rarely get to with people, and you're going to be leading different people, especially on staff at different places. Like your new employees, you're leading them because of the position you're in. You're their boss. They're writing their paycheck. And then hopefully you transition to you're leading them because they trust you and they realize they get a paycheck from what they do, but that's almost second. Like it's not their main focus anymore. Mm-hmm. But back when you were in guest services, sometimes people just want to be told what to do. I believe there's a whole industry around this, people not being able to make decisions. It's called a hostess in a restaurant. Why we need somebody to tell us where to sit. Have you ever seen when you walk into a restaurant and they go, sit wherever you want? People are like, I'm like, it doesn't matter, just sit somewhere.
Wow.
So people want to be led, even though they say they don't. Mm-hmm. They don't like to be forcefully led, mm-hmm. but most people like clear and decisive direction to be led. Yeah. I found.
No, I think that's true. I mean, even in let's take it in situations where you're buying a kayak. Like, of course, someone could put in the time to research and look at every single kayak that exists, but they would rather someone, I would imagine, they'd be able to go to a store and have someone who has all the experience lead them to, okay, well, what are you doing? What sorts of activities, what kind of experience do you have? Okay, based on all of that, this is probably going to be your best bet.
The kayak's a great example. And 20 years ago, people came in and they said, I think I want to get a kayak, and talk to me about it. We'd spend hours walking through each model with them. Now it's actually the opposite because of the internet. I launched this business pre-internet. I mean, it was there, but it wasn't there.
Yeah.
Like it was not mainstream. Everybody didn't have it. Our first email address was an AOL account that we dialed up to.
Nice.
So it was just
beam me up.
Yeah, exactly. And I love you got mail. Like, were they buying something? Nobody bought anything online back then. But we spend all of this time educating the customer. Now what I spend the majority of my time is making sure the information they consumed on the internet is relevant to them. Because everything is kind of like ratings, and radio ratings, TV ratings. We're number one in this market. I don't care about ratings. Everybody's number one in something. If not, you're really bad.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like this kayak is the best kayak for certain situations. So if you get somebody that is very charismatic, they're good with video, and they create this great YouTube video, you'll think this is the best kayak ever made. Yeah. And it could be for that person's thing. Well, we live in the Redneck Riviera. We live in Panama City, Florida. Some of the greatest fishing, some of the most beautiful outdoor areas you can ever get. And this may not be the best kayak for you. So what we started doing now is just asking them questions. And they're like, yeah, but this has this feature. And I go, but when are you ever going to be in that situation? So just guiding them through all the information they already have at their fingertips. Because most of our customers, and this is a principle we tell our staff, new training, you come in, I go, assume the customer knows more about the product than you do, because they probably do. While we have 80,000 items in our point of sale system. That customer's researched probably 10 before they walked in our door to buy them, and they're all fresh on their mind. So we assume that now the customer knows more than we do about the product. Wow. We let them explain the product to us most of the time, and then I'm like, but have you thought about this? So all we do is just challenge their thought process just a little. But that has changed in the last 3 to 5 years drastically.
It's interesting how the way you run a retail business like this completely changes.
It's
throughout the years.
Absolutely, yeah. So, it used to be I was the guide the entire time, and then I was the hero at the end. Now I'm just the guide, and I just kind of point them and, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? We send more YouTube videos, consumer generated. They may be pushing another store. It doesn't matter to me. My customer's my customer, and if I show them a video that you produced and you're talking about dealing with XYZ company, well, if that customer bails on me, they were never my customer anyway. So I just helped them get to where they ultimately needed. But we send more user-generated reviews to customers to help them make up their mind than we ever have in years past. And then when they come in, we just go, hey, here's why they like this, or here's why they don't like that. I don't know if any of that makes any sense.
No, that's really good. I can apply all of the kayak talk to the camera talk, because there's so many people, who are making YouTube videos about cameras and camera reviews and everything. So there's all these people.
No,
yeah, it really is though. I'm filming this on a DSLR. I could film it on a camera or on an iPhone. But you have all these people who will say, this is the best camera of 2020. This is the best camera of 2019 or whatever. But then once you actually look at how you're going to use it, it all depends on what's important to you.
Absolutely. There's our timer.
That's the timer. So we are just about about done.
Hey, let me try. Wrong phone. Hang on. Now you just got to.
What's great is we started off this podcast, and I have a timer sitting below the camera, and then he was like, "Hey, do you want me to set a timer? It's just a secondary, just in case." And I'm glad he did. So I think that's all the time that we've got. As we're kind of wrapping up, what's one thing that you've got inside of you that somebody's watching this, and they obviously, after watching this, they've learned a lot from you already. What's something that you want to leave them with? What's like an action step, a specific thing? You talked a lot about community, talked a lot about pouring into people, a lot about adapting and evolving over time. What's something that somebody can actually do this week to be able to improve in their ability to serve their community?
I want you to reach out to your largest competitor in your local market. And it may not be somebody else that sells kayaks, but anybody that buys anything that somebody goes, do I buy a kayak today, or do I buy new tires today for my car? So you have competitors, whether you realize it or not. Reach out to them and become friends with them, because community over competition will win every single time. And rising tide floats all boats. There's analogies out the wazoo for all of this. So it's the reason why Home Depot and Lowe's are across the street from each other. CVS and Walgreens are across the street from each other. Become friends with all of your competitors in your local market and help each other succeed, because that goodwill will go farther for you than anything you can do on your own.
Wow. Absolutely incredible. Well, Brad, thank you so much for joining us today. Left hand shake.
Are we allowed to shake hands?
I don't know. We did.
Oh, my gosh. Now,
whoops.
We got to wrap this up quick because I got to go hand sanitize.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the StoryTrack Podcast. If this served you and helped you in any way, listen to it again. Send it to someone you care about. And thanks for joining us. Thank you for listening to this episode of the StoryTrack Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a rating, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about.